Hey y'all, hey, how y'all doing? I'm just setting this up. I have a treat for y'all today. I'm super excited about this topic for today. Um, this is Dr. Naeema. Hey y'all, hey. That's my signature. Y'all just love it. Dr. Naeema here. Happy whatever day of the week it is where you are. It's Saturday here. This is Neuro Insights with Dr. Naeema. This is our month that we're talking about and happy Black History Month. Happy Black History Month. Black history is just so meaningful. I wouldn't be here without my ancestors. I wouldn't be before you without my ancestors. So I'm grateful. I'm forever grateful. I want to pay homage, and I pay homage to my ancestors, their blood, sweat, and tears by being the best neuroclinical school psychologist that I can be. That's how I pay it forward, and I teach other people how to do what I do. And that's what God wants of us, right? So I'm Dr. Naeema, and today we're going to be discussing neuropsychological evaluation, the power of neuropsychological evaluations. It's something that I'm really passionate about, and they are very important, imperative in diagnosing developmental disorders. Now, I want you guys to know I'm looking at two screens, right? So, in the screen in front of me is my podcast that I'm recording, and it's going to be posted on different streams, and the screen to the right, that is my Instagram live. So, y'all, if y'all see me looking at the podcast, please don't be discouraged. Please don't feel slighted in any way. Just know that I am multitasking and making sure that I look in both directions. And I'm looking for comments also because as this is a live that is being recorded, I do like to engage with the audience on Instagram. So it is live on Instagram. I know that when it comes to children, and especially with conditions like ADHD and learning disabilities, it can be very confusing trying to figure out what's going on. So in this episode, I'm going to break it down for you and explain how neuropsychological evaluations can improve some much needed clarity and guidance when it comes to understanding your child, diagnosing, and really pinpointing the unique challenges of your child. People might say, oh, my child has autism. Okay, but what does that really mean for your child? If you've met one child with autism, you've met one child with autism. If your child has ADHD, what does that really mean for your child? I have ADHD. What does that really mean for if you've met one person with ADHD, you've met one person with ADHD. Everybody is different. They may have similarities, very much so similarities, but they all are unique. They all are unique in their strengths and in their needs. So first off, let's talk about exactly what is a neuropsychological evaluation and how is it different from other assessments you might be familiar with, like an IQ test. In neuropsychs, we do IQ testing. However, or even behavioral assessments, a neuropsychological is a comprehensive assessment. It does give IQ, but it looks at how your child's brain or how a person's brain, it's not just for children, it's for anybody. It's not just about measuring how smart they are, like an IQ test, but about understanding how their brain is actually processing information. How do they think? How do they manage their emotions? How do they react to certain stimuli in their environment? Auditory stimuli, visual stimuli, tactile stimuli. That means what they touch. How well do they focus? How well do they solve problems or manage their memory? Basically, it gives us a holistic view of how different areas of the brain are working, which is key when diagnosing developmental disorders. Now, let's talk about what these evaluations actually involve. It's a bit of a multi-step process, but don't worry, I'll walk you through it. It can be perceived as very intense, but if you just take it in one step at a time, you'll see that it's very beneficial. First, we start with interviews. This is when I talk to parents and I talk to the child also, or the individual if I'm testing an adult. Talk to them. I talk to caregivers and sometimes teachers to gather some background information. What's the child developmental history like? What kind of behaviors or challenges are popping up? How was the mother's pregnancy with them? How are they socially? How are they perceived socially within the home, within the school, within the community? Because there is a difference. Have they ever had any testing in the past, and what did the testing provide, or what did it bring forth? What did it uncover? What did it disclose or share with you about this person or this child? How was their education history? This is where we get a big picture and sense of what's going on. Then comes the fun part. Well, for me anyway, y'all, I really love my job. And sometimes I will say, like, okay, let's get this party started. And I try to preface that we're not really gonna have a party, but I'm gonna have a party. There's not gonna be no balloons and cake and ice cream and stuff, but I love what I do. So I always say, let's get this party started. Because one child one day said, after our evaluation, mommy, I ain't see no balloons, I ain't see no cake. We ain't had no cake. We ain't sing happy birthday, mommy. I didn't hear no music. It was not a party. She did not tell the truth. So I had to apologize to that baby, right? So now I do share that part of my thoughts when I say, let's get this party started, y'all. This is where we use various tasks and assessments to get a sense of how a child's brain is working across multiple areas. And for me, it's really fun. We use tactile things. We push and we pull back. We take breaks. We use blocks. We use different things that help to understand the mind. We use toys. We use continuous performance assessments. We use the computer, the iPad, and we use the VR set too. The kids really get excited about that. Adults get excited about that. We'll assess things like memory, language, problem solving, and even how they handle emotions and social interactions. So when I'm doing a neuropsychological evaluation, from the beginning to the end, I am always taking note of how the person responds. Are they nervous? Are they biting their lip? Are they shaking their leg? Are they changing the subject? We may also use questionnaires. Questionnaires give us a broader sense of how the individual is functioning in different settings, like at home or in the school. And at the end of all that, we bring it all together to create a detailed picture of the child or the individual's cognitive, emotional, and behavioral functioning. Sometimes parents will see that their child is behaving one way at home and they may be behaving a different way at school. And we really have to do a deep dive into how parents are responding and setting boundaries with their children versus how is it happening in the school. Sometimes parents are more lenient and sometimes the school give in to the child's behaviors and they allow certain things. So this perpetuates maladaptive behaviors if they really don't know how to grasp and set boundaries with these behaviors. So all of this helps us to understand why they might be struggling and guides us to a more precise diagnosis. So, why is all of this important? Let me tell you. When it comes to diagnosing developmental disorders like ADHD or autism, a neuropsychological evaluation, they're really game changers. So, for instance, and I'll self disclose, I had my son evaluated by the Board of Ed. I know I knew what was wrong with my child, but the Board of Ed cannot diagnose ADHD. My purpose was to ensure that my son received the supports necessary for him to make progress. He definitely needed accommodation. They can't give a diagnosis. They can just tell you what their IQ is and if they're really having challenges in school based on their scores. I knew the something was wrong and I just asked for a neuropsychological evaluation at the public's expense. I just respectfully said, like, I don't really agree with your findings, which is okay. It's just like going to a doctor's appointment and you know that something is wrong with you and the doctor is saying one thing and you just know that there's something and you just respectfully let them know, like, I know that there's something. I know there's something more. I just don't agree with these findings respectfully. So, for instance, with ADHD, these assessments help us understand how attention, memory, and executing, the skills we use to plan, organize, and control our impulses might be affecting your child's ability to focus or stay organized. So, a typical psychological evaluation might say, yes, this person has ADHD, but a neuropsychological evaluation will show you that do they have sustained attention with when they're looking at something, when they're hearing information, when it comes time for them to use their motoric responses, how are they responding to that? Do they get distracted when they see things, when they hear things? Are they impulsive with answering questions? Are they verbally or physically or tactilely? Are they impulsive? Are they able to really catch themselves when they make hasty response? How are the impulses showing up? How is the inattention showing up? If your child is struggling with focusing in school, we can see if it's truly a focus issue or if it's something deeper going on with brain functioning. And sometimes anxiety can mask itself as ADHD. Depression can mask itself as ADHD. So that's one of the beauties of a neuropsychological evaluation. When it comes to autism, Neuropsychological testing helps us understand how the brain processes social and emotional information. And it can even pinpoint challenges with language, sensory processing, and other core areas affected by autism. So there's one thing to say that my child has a communication and social disorder and call it autism, but with the neuropsychological evaluation, we can really pinpoint how a lot of times people on the autism spectrum have a hard time with abstract reasoning. Abstract reasoning means being able to put information together in their mind and create a whole picture. And sometimes that can play into their semantics, into how they read information, into how they explain information. So a lot of times a person on the spectrum will know how they will be able to respond to you and give you concrete details of a story, but if you ask them for a summary of the story, it will be hard for them to be able to give you that information. So a neuropsychological can give you the details of what are the challenges for this person and how do we actually help this person to make progress. Having this level of detail allows us to develop more tailored, effective treatment plans. The whole purpose of an evaluation is not for a diagnosis, but it is to help you to determine what is the best treatment for them. What is going to be the best method within the home, within the school, within the community for my child or for myself. Because we're not just treating a set of symptoms, we're treating the underlying brain patterns. And for parents, it gives you a complete picture of your child's strengths and challenges, which is so helpful. A lot of times, parents, we might have a pit in our stomach, we might have something that we feel in our spirit like something is not right, and we just know we have an idea of what's not right, but we cannot pinpoint, we can't quite grasp exactly what it is, and this can help. And this will be such a relief when you're navigating complex situations. So let's talk about some of the biggest benefits of a neuropsychological evaluation for children with developmental disorders. One of the major ones is that it gives you a deeper understanding of how your child's brain is functioning. We're not just diagnosing a disorder, we're understanding what's going on in the brain that might be controlling this child's behaviors or their struggles. For example, a child with ADHD might be super creative and good at thinking outside the box, but they might struggle with sustaining their attention or their working memory. Working memory is you tell that child something this minute, and the next minute they have a hard time holding it in their mind to be able to repeat that back to you. Neuropsychological evaluations can highlight those areas, which means we can craft strategies that play to their strengths while helping them work on their challenges. And how amazing is that? Children, also know that they fall short in certain instances. And when you know their strengths and you can use their strengths to help to enhance their areas of weakness, it helps to boost their confidence. Another benefit is that these evaluations can help us identify any co occurring issues. A child with autism might also have anxiety. When does the anxiety come about? Or learning challenges. By catching all of these factors, we can create a more comprehensive and effective treatment plan for this baby, for this child, for you yourself. A lot of adults will come to me and they've had challenges their whole lives and they didn't know that they were struggling with something, but because of information, they want more insight. They want to rule it in or rule it out. It helps them in their relationships. I give them treatment plans on how can they make progress? How is this showing up in their relationship? How is this showing up in their parenting? How is this showing up in their work life balance? And it's so helpful. Neuropsychological testing can offer parents a lot of clarity. It can really reduce the uncertainty and the frustration that comes with not fully understanding what's going on with their child. Like, is he just being disrespectful? Is she just being disrespectful? I mean, are you getting it? Are you hearing me? Are you understanding what I'm saying? These are some of the things that parents will think. And when you have a clear picture of what's happening in their brain, it makes it a lot easier to make informed decisions about therapies and support systems. So if you're a parent thinking about getting a neuropsychological evaluation for your child, or if you're an adult who's struggling, my advice is trust your instincts. If you're noticing behaviors or struggles that don't seem to fit the typical developmental patterns, if you notice yourself getting off track and you're just having a hard time getting things together, If there are challenges that just aren't adding up, it's okay to reach out for help. Neuropsychological evaluations are incredibly helpful in guiding us toward a deeper understanding of your child's brain, your brain if you're getting assessed for yourself, and how we can best support them or you. Remember, early intervention is key. The sooner we understand what's going on, the sooner we can tailor strategies and interventions to make a real difference. So, that's all I have for you today on the power of neuropsychological evaluations in diagnosing developmental disorders, neurological disorders. I'm hoping you found this helpful and that it gives you some clarity in your thinking and taking this step for your child or for yourself. Thank you so much for tuning in to Neuro Insights with Dr. Naeema. Make sure you like our episode, subscribe, and share. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. If you want to schedule your child's neuropsychological evaluation, feel free to email us at admin@givinghope.llc.org. That's admin@givinghope.llc.org. You can also text us 347-740-2640. You can text us, need a neuropsych, and we will reach out to you and provide you with the next steps. It's really easy. We accept insurance, and sometimes the school districts will pay for these also. And sometimes parents pay out of pocket. Thank you so much. Y'all be blessed and continue to be a blessing. And I'll catch y'all next time. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to list your questions. If you have things that you want us to provide insight on in these podcasts, please don't hesitate to ask, okay? Make sure you tune into my channel on Instagram at Dr. underscore Naeema underscore and subscribe to Dr. Naeema Giving Hope on YouTube and on Spotify. Y'all be blessed till next time.